How can you feel rewarded without smoking? In this video, we'll talk about why smoking and nicotine makes you feel rewarded and how to feel rewarded without it. Almost all smokers use smoking as a reward for finishing a task or believe nicotine makes them feel good and worry that without it, they won't feel rewarded or even enjoy life anymore. I used to feel the same way. So let's see why we believe that and how to feel rewarded without smoking, even if you have already quit and even if you have felt down in past quit attempts. Keep on watching. Hi, Nasya Davos here. In this video, we'll talk about why smoking and nicotine makes you feel rewarded and how to feel rewarded without it. So before we get started, subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button so you can get notified when we release more videos that will help you on your journey. So why you believe nicotine makes you feel rewarded? Most of us, we go through life smoking and feeling relief when we feed the craving. So we start believing there's something inside those cigarettes that enhances our life. Of course, if you believe that, quitting becomes hard. But when you understand the inner workings of your mind and you understand why you feel rewarded, you get clarity and more confidence to be without the thing you're addicted to. So, why nicotine makes you feel rewarded? Nicotine is a drug that has hijacked your brain. Nicotine, in fact, is a pesticide. It protects the tobacco plant from being eaten by insects. But inside the human body, nicotine is a drug. How it works? You take a puff and within a couple of seconds, nicotine has reached your brain. Once nicotine goes to the brain, it attaches to the receptors of some of your brain cells. Think about these receptors as a lock and nicotine as a key. So nicotine locks some of your brain cells. Of course, our brain was not created with the capacity to receive pesticide. It just so happens that nicotine can lock into these receptors that are now called nicotine receptors. And the problem is that these receptors are in the places of the brain that have to do with reward. So when nicotine attaches itself to these receptors, dopamine is released and you feel rewarded. Dopamine is a fantastic neurotransmitter. It's a fantastic brain chemical that your brain produces and it makes you feel good and feel rewarded. Dopamine helps us learn, feel motivated, remember things, and repeat behaviors that ensure our survival, like eating. For example, when we eat, our brain releases dopamine to reward us. If it didn't, we would forget to eat and the human species would go extinct. We are wired that way. And because nicotine triggers the release of dopamine, it tricks the brain into believing that smoking is also behavior worth repeating. It tricks the brain into believing you need nicotine to survive. And that's how nicotine hijacks the brain, by making you believe you need it, just like you need water or food. Your brain doesn't know that nicotine is causing you to be addicted. It thinks it's good for you. And to make sure you get it, the brain has created a thinking process, a self-talk, a craving mind that's dedicated to reminding you to get nicotine. For example, when you're hungry, your body will warn you and your mind will tell you, hey, you need to eat. And it's going to insist for you to eat until you do. Why? Because it wants you to survive. The same way your brain will tell you you need to smoke or just one puff because it thinks you need nicotine to survive. It doesn't know any better. The craving brain will come up with all sorts of excuses and reasons to get you to smoke. These are your craving thoughts. So if you've ever felt so compelled to smoke even though you knew better, it's simply because your brain has outdated information and it believes you need nicotine to survive. And that's how nicotine tricks the brain into releasing dopamine. Now, does this mean that smokers feel happier or more rewarded than non-smokers? No, a smoker's brain doesn't release more dopamine than a non-smoker's brain. They just release dopamine at different times. Non-smokers release dopamine when they're genuinely happy and feel rewarded. But smokers release most of their dopamine when nicotine tells them to. And over time, the smoker's brain relies on nicotine to release its dopamine. So nicotine is holding your happiness hostage in a way. Now, the good news is that research shows that 3 months after you quit smoking and quit any form of nicotine, dopamine levels bounce back and you can start feeling mentally healthier and rewarded without nicotine, which is a pretty good deal, right? You smoke for decades and it takes your brain 3 months for to heal your dopamine and bounce back. Amazing. Now, Does this mean that after you quit, you will not be able to feel rewarded for 3 whole months until your brain heals its dopamine resources? Do you have to suffer until your brain heals? Not at all. Which takes me to what you need to do so you can feel rewarded without nicotine. And it's to replace smoking, replace vaping, replace the nicotine gum. In other words, replace nicotine with a different, healthy reward. And you can, because pleasure, feeling rewarded, and feeling good all depend on the release of dopamine. There's nothing special about nicotine in triggering dopamine in your brain and making you feel rewarded. There are many other healthy ways to release dopamine and feel good, but choose a healthy reward because listen, our brain already has the tendency to replace things. So if you don't choose a healthy reward to replace nicotine with, your brain will choose easy. If you don't choose healthy, your brain will choose easy. And that's likely food, because food also triggers dopamine. So if you don't want to replace smoking with eating, you choose a reward and choose a healthy reward. And when I say healthy, I mean choose something that cannot become a vice. Now, before your quit date, start replacing one of your reward cigarettes with a healthy reward to see what works best for you. But if you have already quit, you can always choose better ways to reward yourself starting now. Now, some great healthy ways to release dopamine that are supported by research are exercise, massage, if that's available to you. It increases dopamine levels by about 30% and decreases stress. Also, listening to music. Meditation, if you're not into meditation, you can start by watching some guided meditations, 5-10 minutes. There are many on YouTube and it's a great place to get started. Yoga also helps. Mindfulness, essential oils. Essential oils come from plants and have medicinal properties. Smelling them can trigger your brain to release feel-good chemicals like dopamine. Some essential oils that research shows that they positively impact our mood are rosemary oil, black pepper oil, lemon and orange oil, and generally oils coming from citrus fruits. I have added links to the scientific researches in the description of this video, as well as resources if you want to learn more about this. Also, setting tasks and finishing them, ticking off tasks, any kind of task, work-related, self-care related, or fun-related, this can help you get a dopamine boost. Your dopamine levels also depend on what you eat. Foods like turkey, fish, eggs, soy, banana, almonds, and probiotics can help your body make dopamine. While drinking too much coffee or eating sugar, this gives you a quick high, but then your dopamine levels drop, and then you're likely to want more coffee, more sugar, and more food, just like you wanted more nicotine. Now, something important, doing one of the above things once in a while may help in that moment, but choosing a set of those things and doing them consistently can make a real change in your life. My point is, if you exercise once or eat almonds once, this is not going to make you happier, but setting a routine where you prioritize those things will help you a lot. So, have a go-to solution when you need a reward, and also make those changes part of your life so you can feel overall more rewarded and adjust faster without nicotine. So, to sum up, to feel rewarded without smoking, you need to understand why nicotine makes you feel rewarded in the first place, so you can see there's nothing magical in your cigarettes. You're just feeding the nicotine addiction. And 2, start doing other healthy things that will trigger dopamine release in your brain, and they will make you feel better and feel good and feel rewarded. Now, if you believe smoking is your friend and adds value to your life, that's part of the mental addiction to smoking. The mental addiction is how smoking makes you feel, how much you believe you need it, and how ingrained it is in your life. That's the biggest and most challenging aspect of the nicotine addiction. So overcoming the mental addiction is also the key to breaking free. And that's what the CBQ method is designed to do, to help you overcome the mental addiction. CBQ stands for Cognitive Behavioral Quitting, and it is a psychology-based method that I talked about in my TED Talk, and it works because it has 4 quit smoking stages. These 4 stages take you from where you are now to a happy non-smoker because they change how you think about and experience smoking. So if you want to start with the CBQ method, make sure you get the foundational video of the CBQ. The link is in the description of this video. In the foundational video, I show you the 4 stages of the CBQ method, how they work together, and tips to get started with every stage. You will get an overview of your whole quit smoking journey from start to finish and a PDF starter guide for the CBQ method with tips and notes you can use along your journey. So, get the video, and before you go, let me know in the comments what helps you feel rewarded. Looking forward to reading your comments. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.